So now I've got some questions from Naya's Family Collective that I wanted to put in the video. And the first one is kind of on the same subject we were just talking about a little bit earlier. Kim wants to know.
Naya. So my question is, what is a long-term star seed?
Of course, there can be any, there's 0 to 1,000 and anything in between. But generally speaking, right now, there actually should be 4. I should divide it into 4. There should be a word for you, which is pre-Earth. They're beings that are in human form that have been around. And then there are long-term humans that have been here most of the time that humans have been on the planet. Mm-hmm. And then there are long-term star seeds that for whatever job that they had. So for whatever job they came to do as a star seed, they opted to have more than one life on the planet to prepare for it. So in Kim's case, she's actually had between 20 and 50 lives, human lifetimes, depending upon what timeline you're talking about. And she has actually been different lives throughout history, because when you come to do a lifetime from now, you can decide what time period to do that in. It's not linear in real life. So she's got quite ancient lifetimes that kind of tie her to the beginning of modern mankind, so she could get those vibrations down. She also did it so that she could understand the vibration of the reptilian Illuminati beings and the other side as well, which I think those are most of those guys are from like Lyra, I think. But anyway, she's done that several years so she could learn, because it would take her longer than just one lifetime to get the vibrations down that she needed to do the job right now. So that's what I call a starseed's been here longer or more lives. And then there are the newbies, the starseeds that this is their only life or they're less than 5. And they're the brand new starseeds. Those beings, very seldom will they stay in the 4th dimension because they haven't practiced it. They've been pretty much thrown into the deep end. They don't know what they're doing, but they might decide to stay in 4D for the experiences that are available. And they can handle the duality better because they've had more experience. They still are babies in experience compared to somebody like you, but they could definitely make their way around, and they might opt to stay and have a couple million lifetimes in 4D and then go back to 3D with more experience and stay there longer, more like you did.
So I've got a question. This is an actual question from Kelly Page to you.
I heard 3 knocks on my kitchen window. Frightened the bejesus out of me. And there was no one there, and no one could have possibly been there. And my husband heard it as well, and nobody was there. Just that scared me. I'm just wondering. I have no idea what it's about, and I'm just wondering. Naya's intake.
In her particular situation, she's moving back and forth between 4D and 5D a lot. So in the case of the knock, that was actually 4th dimensional, the Orion people trying to get her attention. The ghost that walked by was actually just another being or person that was in the 5th dimension, right where her house is. And both of them were able to, they were at the vibration where she was more in their world so she could see them. So the trick is that it's not that simple. It's not that easy. So because there are so many vibrations, it's whatever you match is what you're going to see and experience. So especially if you're moving fast through the 4th dimension into 5th dimension, if you don't know that this is what's going on, you can stop and get really fearful. You can interfere with everything and lower everything. If you just go, oh, okay, well, what did that feel like? What did that feel like? Now, it's tricky with the pigeons because the pigeons are fourth dimensional, but they're vibrating so high that it feels like they've got to be a god or they've got to be an angel because nobody has felt that kind of love before. So unless you've gone beyond the fourth dimension, outside of all of it, and know what it really feels like, it will feel from this perspective like, well, that's got to be heaven, that's got to be angels, that's got to be where I'm supposed to go. And all I can do is say, hey, if you're led to it and it feels good and right, then go there. But for everybody who is absolutely like they know that they want to go home, then I will say to them, relax and center and really, really analyze what you're feeling, because with those beings, there is a pushiness, a control, a bossiness. It's very subtle. They're very subtle, but you can feel this like, I know better than you do. Just do what I say. Very condescending, but loving, extremely loving. But there is this underlying, let me help you. And that's the best way I can explain it, is if you're dealing with a pigeon in the fourth dimension, although it will feel wonderful and you think that they're the best thing ever, if you center, you could always tell the difference, because they will want to do it for you. They will want to do it, make you do it this way. A fifth dimensional being will never, ever do that. As a matter of fact, they're much more likely to go very much like, you can do this, you don't need my help. You just need to get it done, just do it. And that's the subtle difference. It's a very subtle difference. And then outside of this creation altogether, there are no words for the love that you have there. There's nothing like it. That's why everybody that dies and really goes out of this creation, they come back and they have no words for the love that they felt, is because there are no words for this.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to Kelly Page and her husband? Because I mean, she was freaked out. She emailed me and she's like, have I been messing around with witchcraft, put a spell on her or something? I mean, so should she welcome this, or what would you say to her about it?
Always, always, always welcome it. And actually what it is, a sign of that evening, they were at high vibratory state, and they were very much between high 4D and lowest 5D. They were very, very high. And when they did that, then their ability to access other dimensions along those realms became wide open. So if they need to just relax and go, all right, cool. And that's going to happen more and more as people raise their vibrations. That's when people are going to start seeing fairies out of the corner of their eyes. They're going to see a unicorn off in the distance, and they're going to go, I'm losing it. No, you're just vibrating at a different plane, so now you can see them. She was doing that, and she could just see the entities that were vibrating at a new place than she had been before. And she went through several of them. She went through a couple of them, because that hard knock, that was 4D. Man, those are 4D pigeons all around. But the one that was a ghost that went walking through, on 5D, right where she is, that person looked just like me, and they were just walking down the road and didn't see her because she was too low and they weren't paying any attention. So they're like having the regular life in the fifth dimension, as she is just barely peeking into the fifth dimension, and she could see them, but they wouldn't have paid any attention to Kelly and her husband in their living room.
Okay. So here's a question now from Simone, the Zen Mommy.
Say hi, Naya.
Hi.
Hi, it's Zen Mommy and Son. I have a question for you. I want to know, what would your advice be to someone who had a spiritual awakening and realizing that they are a starseed? Thank you.
Okay, well, the work she does at night when she's sleeping, and she's been very busy her whole life. She's a very busy lady. During the day, the best thing that she can do is, same old thing, be happier and happier. That's what she needs to do. Just be happier and happier. It is all about the frequency. It's not about the physical job. And for a human, who's been raised that you do this and you do this and you do this thing, then that's hard for people to adjust to. But the truth is that if you're in a vibe, if you stayed in intention and full centeredness with all knowingness, you can get, I think it's in 15 seconds, you can get done more in a centered, godlike, intending state than 144,000 human hours. So I ask you, you can do the 144,000 hours. You can go out and clothe the poor. You can do whatever peaceful, loving you want to do, or you can spend an hour visualizing perfect peace of joy, and look how much more effective you'll be on the planet. And then you can do whatever you want to during the day. But the best thing to do, the most effective thing to do for everyone, every starseed, is as much time as you can go into a meditative state and visualize that Gaia get to the fifth dimension, all being love, joy, and light. That's where you're going to be the strongest. That's where you'll do the most good.
Okay. A lot of starseed questions. So here's a question from Helen, good old Helen from Germany. She wants to know.
With the snow.
What's that now?
With the snow.
Yeah, with the snow.
With the snow.
That's cold snow. Well, you're going to be facing that pretty soon when you go to New York and Boston.
No. Yay.
So Helen wants to know.
Hello, Naya. My question for you today is, how will housing and dwelling play out in 5D? In previous videos you said that physical food isn't necessary in 5D, so what about housing? How will we live? Will we live together in villages or cities, or will we roam around in Mother Nature? Will we have a physical abode? I would be interested in hearing your vision about that.
You can create one if you'd like. You can create anything, but what happens is you go, oh, okay, well, I've decided that I want to live in a castle in Germany today. So you'll instantly bleep over in Germany. You'll look around. You go, okay, I want the castle right there. And so then you'll manifest a castle and go in there and hang out, invite your friends, do whatever you want to do, make your fake food, make your fake drinks, whatever, or make real ones and enjoy them, party, sing, dance, whatever. The castle will be made out of energy, so nothing has to die. Those things will like float right above the grass so nothing gets hurt. And then whenever you're done and you don't like the castle anymore, you're done with it, you just walk away and it goes away.
Okay.
Everything is instant manifested, so you don't have to create things and then hold on to them like that. You go and you do what you want, when you want, creating what you want in the instant. Lots and lots and lots of playing. Lots of playing in the fifth dimension.
Wow.
And most people that are coming from the third and the fourth dimension, they're ready to play because it was tough. So it's like a celebration. It's like, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. So it's like a nonstop party where you don't need alcohol and drugs because you feel better than that all the time.
Here is a question from Sarah, good old Sarah, the professional astrologer. Sarah wants to know,
Naya, when we're all in 5D, will the planets in our solar system be the same? Will they also be in 5D and we'll leave the other physical planets behind? Are all the other planets ascending? How does that work?
It doesn't count. It doesn't go together. But when Gaia and we are in 5D and we stick with this, we will be with aspects of the planets that is their fifth dimensional aspect. So it will be. Now there's a couple of the planets that are not in 5D because they are going the other direction, but that's a whole nother story. but they don't have aspects. But most of the planets and most of the galaxy is there in a fifth dimensional frequency form. So it is the same beings, except for a couple of them. Most of the beings are the same beings. It's just that instead of being hanging out with them in a third dimensional level, then it'll be the fourth dimensional level. But see how Gaia left third dimension and she's going to fifth dimension, so she won't be in 3D and 4D anymore. Well, that can happen with any other planet or galaxy being. So there will be some that are there. Most of them will be, whether they're going up in frequency or down, planetarily and in galaxy solar systems. But most of them, from her perspective about what she's talking about, she will learn a whole bunch of new stuff because the interaction, because they are now on the fifth dimensional level, all those other planets, it's a whole different way of reading astrology. So she'll have a whole bunch of new stuff to learn from her perspective, which she'll have great fun with.
Okay. Yeah,
Very complicated.
Yeah, she'll be glad to hear that. Sarah actually had a second question. Sarah wants to know.
And one other quick question: have there really been true time anomalies reported, like really where there's been breakthroughs in parallel time and future time, past time? You know what I'm talking about, tears in time. Anyway, that's my quick question. Bye.
You could absolutely, you could do it in a blink of an eye. You could, because all you got, it's because there's no real, it's not really, it doesn't exist. So you could actually, if you believed it enough, you could actually say, okay, I want to go back to, I don't know, 1452 Thursday at 5 o'clock. You could just be there, but there is no time tear. The only reason there are portals, most of that is fourth dimensional stuff, because in the fourth dimension, like I said, they're partially in amnesia. So they believe that you have to have those portals to move through time. Once you're outside of time space, then you realize, of course, you didn't have to have any of it. Just like you don't really have to have doctors to get well. It's a part of the game. So the creation of these portals and time machines is a part of the game, kind of like creating doctors and medicines as a part of the game. Then, but outside of it, you can't tear time because it's like, because it's an illusion anyway, and you can bounce around in it as much as you want once you get out of the belief system that it is linearly and you're stuck in it. And you will find that out about halfway up 5D. You can step right out of it. When that happens, you can step out, you can step back in, out, in, come back in, wherever you want to go. Yeah, but from a fourth dimensional perspective, absolutely, they have portals and time machines because they believe that it is their belief system. Whereas in the third dimension, the belief system is you can't move through time. You can't do it. That's the belief system we've come out of. In fourth dimension, it is, oh yeah, we can move through time. We can get in a machine. We can open a portal. That's the belief system. But none of it's real because time and space are an illusion.
Yeah,
so
well, that's getting kind of technical there.
See, and yours.
So here's a question from Jeremy himself. So this is from Jeremy.
Naya, I just wanted to ask, how do we practice telepathy and learning to communicate to each other without speaking through our collective? And what's a good way to practice that? Okay, bye.
A lot of telepathy, it's not what you see in the movies. It's not, okay, I'm telepathically with you and I hear you say, you should have turned left instead of right. What's wrong with you, dumbass? It doesn't happen like that. You don't hear words. You feel concepts in whole, in total. So if you're trying to hear somebody's thoughts in word linear form, you're not ever going to be very good at telepathy. Everyone already does telepathy. They just don't realize they do it. When you walk down the street and you pass somebody you've never seen before, and you get that ominous feeling that there's something wrong with that person and you are in danger, so you walk around them. That's telepathy. That's telepathy. That's how it works. If you meet somebody for the first time and the love of your life, your eyes meet and you just know them, like you know them, and a week later you're talking the same talk. That's telepathy. That's how it works. So the best thing that you can do is start believing that that person is what you feel like they are. And the next best thing you can do is start guessing with your friends. It's people you can let know what you're doing. So, and start practicing. So just think about them, calm your mind, and try to guess simple things like, are you in a good mood or a bad mood? And then once you can guess whether somebody's in a good mood or a bad mood, most of the time, then try to figure out what kind of bad mood, what kind of good mood. And then once you get that done and verified with your friends, then you're going to go into trying to figure out why they're in that good mood or bad mood. And as you follow that, practice, then you'll start just doing it with other people, and you'll recognize the feeling, you'll recognize the knowingness, and the more you recognize it and believe in it, the more you'll recognize more and more and more. The more you practice, the more you believe, the easier it becomes. And it just is a matter of practice. And you've got to rethink. It's not like the movies. It's not like the movies. That's the reason why, I could tell anything, but I couldn't care less what you're thinking moment to moment. That's too slow. We don't do it for that reason. If we were doing that, might as well talk. We do it in order to get a person's whole point in an instant. So you don't do that by reading word by word in somebody's head. You see, feel, know, understand, comprehend their point in this arena on that particular moment from every perspective, from the whole them, their whole experience.
Okay.